Court of Appeals just ruled against Tom Brady, Easy Jet fans. The judges upheld Commissioner Goodell's 4-game Deflategate suspension. 2 ruled for it, but I wanted you to hear what the dissenting judge said. Here a quote from his opinion. The commissioner exceeded his authority when he decided that Brady could be suspended for 4 games based on misconduct found for the first time in the commissioner's decision. This breach of the limits of the commissioner's authority is exasperated by the unprecedented and virtually unexplained nature of the penalty imposed. Now, clearly, Amy is the brains on the subject. I was actually driving and I heard you on sports radio, and so here's my only point. I am a Jet fan, so I'm not crying over Tom Brady or the Patriot penalties. However, the idea that this judge, the dissenting judge, takes umbrage with the fact that the majority decision upheld basically the commissioner's right to do this, from where? They collectively bargained that they let the commissioner, I think it stinks too, but they agreed to it, that he gets to be judge, jury, and executioner. That was the deal. He's the sole arbiter. Now they don't like it because they don't like the decision he made. They're trying to rewrite the rules. Why is it more complicated than that? Maybe he's getting a raw deal, but the commissioner, had a right to do it.
Okay, because what the judge is saying is very nuanced. And basically the test is, Goodell, did he dispense his own brand of industrial justice? And so what this judge is saying when he says that he based his decision on misconduct found for the first time in the arbitration decision is that initially when Goodell punished Brady, he said it was based on the Wells report and findings in the Wells report, which found that Brady was generally aware of the scheme. Then you go into the arbitration, and in his reasoning, part of his reasoning, which was never mentioned in the Wells report, was that Goodell concluded that Brady gave gifts to these guys in the locker room in exchange for them deflating the balls. And so what this judge is saying that because this was never brought up before the arbitration, Brady's lawyers never had a chance to defend this allegation that he gave gifts. It was never even broached in the arbitration, yet you see Goodell basing his arbitral decision on and concluding that there was gift giving.
But Amy,
so he's saying that's not fair.
If I go to the inevitable conclusion of this, basically, why have arbitration at all? Why let arbiters make a decision if at the end, if one side doesn't like the ruling, forget binding arbitration, it's not really binding, we're going to relitigate it all over again. Isn't that the whole point, to circumvent a traditional court system and have previously agreed upon Solomon to decide, here both of them make a decision, and then they don't get to complain about the decision?
Well, that's why the Court of Appeals, the majority of them, gave deference to this arbitral award because they don't want to undermine the process. But this dissenting judge, who is the chief judge, is saying, listen, we still have to make sure that he is deriving his authority from the essence of the collective bargaining agreement and not dispensing his own brand of justice. And when he's basing his decision on something that was never talked about before or during the arbitration, gift giving, and there's no chance to defend it, that's dispensing your own brand of justice because you're not giving notice to Brady about what he's being accused
that
of.
Part of the dissenting opinion is more justifiable. Look, it's a unique system that they bargained for in the contract, where Goodell serves at the first tier as fact finder, investigator, second as trier of fact, and third as the hearer of the appeal. Katzman in the dissent is complaining about the third prong of it, where he's hearing the appeal and saying he relied on things in the appellate court, in the appellate level, that were not tried at the second level. That part is somewhat defensible. The part of the dissent that's really appalling is where he takes umbrage at the penalty, because that's really completely outside his domain, and he starts comparing it to a stick-'em offense, putting stick-'em on the balls. It's completely outside his competence. We have a policy in this country that favors arbitration to streamline trials, get rid of the excess litigation, and we show, as judges and lawyers, a lot of great deference to the arbitrator. These people, Berman and Katzman, don't like the ruling and are just trying to retry the case. That's completely at odds with the way this is set up.
He opened Pandora's box here, didn't he?
He certainly did. And the dissent, he keeps talking about his limited authority. And his authority is not limited.
And then he makes new findings of facts and makes up his own penalty. It should be a stick-'em penalty. What does he know about stick-'em?
That's right.
He knows about statutory construction. He's an authority on it and writes great books about it. He knows nothing about stick-'em.
Who is the biggest practitioner of stick-'em?
I don't know. You got to.
Lester Hayes,
Oh,
cornerback
yeah,
from the
all
old
Come
Raiders.
on, Mark,
Wow.
you
Yes,
don't know that?
yes, yeah, please. Okay, now here's my question.
He was good at
Brady's got
smacking
no
Namath's
real
head into
recourse,
the-
right?
No.
I mean, the Supreme Court ain't going to take this, and they're not going back to the same court that already
The
kicked
only
it.
thing they can do is ask for a hearing in banc where
It's done. This is done.
you have the entire Second Circuit.
You guys all like to
sitting.
say en banc, don't you?
I
Full
haven't
court-
said it in a
full
long
court
time.
review.
It's been
How about
over a
that?
year.
Yeah.
You know what I found to be the most interesting part is where they talk about how they go into all this detail about how after one of the games, Brady signed a ball that was like his 50,000-yard ball in one of the games and gave it to the locker room person. And then the team goes and takes some random ball from like the locker room that wasn't even part of the game and puts it in the Hall of Fame and writes, and Brady issues a statement saying, "Oh, this is for the fans. I want them to appreciate this historic ball," and it's a fake. I mean, I never knew that went on.
That's
And
the
then somebody
Patriots
buys it off eBay for what, $1 million or who knows what? And it's a total fake?
I'm fascinated going forward. If I'm the commissioner, I don't want this in my life anymore. Think about all the headaches the league has had.
But he'll still be behind the
But this
scenes
is a complete-
deciding.
But you don't want it. Let somebody else mete out justice at the end of the
Well,
day.
but that's
You,
what
you
they
can't
bargained
win
for,
by
as you
doing
pointed
this.
out.
I
This is a
know he
complete
wanted this.
vindication of his authority, and it's a rightful vindication. If you want it, hold out, change it, strike again, do
Yep.
whatever you want.
If I was the league, I wouldn't fight to keep as Mark identified, the 3 different stages of authority. Let somebody else farm it out. All right, coming up next. 3 officials, they're facing criminal charges over the Flint water crisis. Will this be a game changer going forward for government workers?